last time, he took a bride. But this time, in order to become the parents of a human baby, they'll need just the right woman. Jennifer Tilly.
Production is under...
Seed of Chucky is the bottom of the barrel in Chucky films, and this piece of shit is directed by and written by Don Mancini, who wrote all the Child's Play movies and all the Chucky movies and the upcoming television series. This movie is written and directed by Don Mancini and stars, of course, Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky, as well as Jennifer Tilly as the voice of Tiffany, as well as playing herself within the movie. She's playing as Jennifer Tilly, which is also really stupid. Billy Boyd, who plays the voice of Glenn, Chucky's son, and also Glenda, Chucky's son, who later go on to become his daughter in the movie, like a gender identity kid. And then, of course, it also stars Redman, the bottom of the Wu-Tang Clan, as I like to say. Or he's at least they didn't go for Raza. That'd be funny. Yeah, I guess Method Man wasn't available. I actually do like Wu-Tang Clan, and I actually like Method Man a lot. I'm just only messing with Redman, and also stars John Waters, who's a fantastic director. If you ever see any of his films, he does really amazing movies. And some of these movies actually deal with social issues that deal in movies like that Seed of Chucky kind of deals with, and what this movie's kind of based on. See, the movie itself is essentially a pro-trans movie, is what it tries to come out to be, where it's like, you know, a man that's wanting to be a woman transition to a woman, so it deals with gender identity politics. And so that was kind of one thing that John Waters kind of did a movie, one with Johnny Depp years ago. I forget the name of it's called, but John Waters directed one. So that kind of, he's inspiration for Depp, and he makes kind of, they were kind of controversial movies back then. You know, like Ed Wood, of course, directed one called Glenn or Glenda, which is the basis for Seed of Chucky, where the movie kind of itself deals with the identity of a man who wants to transition into a woman. And this was like the 1940s. So, like, that was unheard of. People thought you were insane if you wanted to do that. And so this movie was always Don Mancini's favorite movie, so he kind of, that's why the character's name is Glenn, and later wants to become Glenda, is because of these bases. And I will say, I like that it kind of is progressive. That's one thing I will say about this movie. You know, it's kind of like, you know, he kind of wants to be, look, I'm a man, but then, like, sometimes I feel like a boy, sometimes I feel like a girl. It kind of deals with these identity, gender politics that we really nowadays kind of address fully in movies and stuff that we didn't really address back then. You know, because people like then was like more conservative about, you know, movies and stuff. Well, now we're more liberal about views in movies and stuff. And so that's kind of one thing that I will say, the movie's really progressive, you know. But, you know, and that's kind of one thing I will say, you know, because I mean, this movie is not good at all. But it does have some good issues that it addresses, you know. It addresses, like, you know, like in Hollywood also, like, oh, you have to sleep with someone to get a role. Like, Jennifer Tilly literally is like, look, you know, people don't want Jennifer Tilly in the movie because, you know, one, she's just not, you know, the starlet anymore, and so she have to sleep around to get the Virgin Mary role. And it kind of addresses that issues in that movie, kind of make me like, okay, you know what? This is actual Hollywood. In fact, we went through this, we're going through this currently right now with the Me Too movement and stuff, of Hollywood doing that sort of thing to women. And I will say that that issue addresses that back all the way up to 2004, like going all the way back to 2004 and addressing that then. Points on this movie for doing that, because it hasn't really did that yet. And so for those reasons is why I will say that this movie will not be as an F, but I will give it a higher grade because of those reasons. While this movie has those things right there are why I will not be giving this movie an F. Now I will say that, and I like Chucky's speech at the end when he's giving a speech, and I'm not going to say the speech because I'll just show you the clip right here. So here's the clip right here. You know, I'm just going to show you the clip right here.
Everybody, shut up! I have had it! That's it! There is a limit to how much I can take.
What are you talking about?
Look around you, Tiff. This is nuts. And I have a very high tolerance for nuts. If this is what it takes to be human, then I would rather take my chances as a supernaturally possessed doll. It's less complicated.
You can't be serious.
As a heart attack. Think about it. What's so great about being human anyway? You get sick. You get old. You can't get it up anymore. I'm not looking forward to that.
Hun, I want to be Jennifer Tilly. I want to be a star.
And I don't want to be your chauffeur. As a doll, I'm fucking infamous. I'm one of the most notorious slashers in history, and I don't want to give that up. I am Chucky, the killer dog, and I dig it! I have everything I want. A beautiful wife. A multi-talented kid. This is who I am, Tiff. This is me.
See? That's the clip. See? Alright. So I will say that. But that speech, okay, was one reason why I really liked it. And I will say that because of that, I will say this. But yes, that is what I like about this movie. And also, here's a fun fact about this movie. The movie was not originally supposed to be, like, it was not supposed to be a movie about, you know, like what we got, you know, Chucky whacking off into a thing and John Waters taking pictures of him, which Don Mancini later joked about in interviews. And so he basically has, like, alright, so basically the movie was originally pitched as going to bring all the characters like Andy Barclay and bring back, you know, the couple from Bride of Chucky and bring back Chris Sarandon as Mike from the first Child's Play, bring back all these legacy characters, and Chucky and his family kill them all, you know, and that was originally kind of the idea of Seed of Chucky, and he wanted to even introduce the idea of multiple Chuckies, which dated back to Child's Play 3, but because of budget constraints, and they're like, look, we don't have the budget, and also Universal not wanting to make this movie, because Universal really wanted to make more of a scarier, gorier movie, versus what Mancini had in mind. Mancini wanted to have this idea, and he also kind of liked the idea of the Glenn and Glinda aspect of the movie, and he kind of wanted to explore it thoroughly. And so when they said, oh, that's too expensive, so then he kind of went back and on the Glenn and Glinda idea and expanded that more and more to where that became the center of the movie. And so the studio read the script Universal and said, and I quote, "The movie's too gay," is what they said. Bear in mind, this is 2004, so nowadays they wouldn't say that. They would never say that today. But they said that, and so Mancini then said, okay, well, and so they didn't want to make the movie, so they said, look, we have a sister division. One of the producers was like, look, we have a sister division at Universal called Focus Features. They just did The Cabin in the Woods, or not Cabin in the Woods, Cabin Fever, and it was a success. They're working, this is before Shaun of the Dead, because they would later go on to make Shaun of the Dead. So they were like, look, we're making this the movie called Shaun of the Dead with this unknown director, right? Look, you know, if you want to submit Seed of Chucky to them, if they approve it, they'll make it probably. And so they did that, and they approved it, and they're like, all right, yeah, Chucky, absolutely. They had no idea what they were about to make, though. So they made a greenlit Seed of Chucky and went into production, and of course, because of budget constraints and everything, and, you know, which they got John Waters, and they got Redman, which they offered, originally the role for Redman was originally written for Quentin Tarantino. You know, the Virgin Mary, because that was the idea, like, oh yeah, a Virgin Mary, a kick-ass Virgin Mary. That was kind of the idea that was written, supposed to be written and directed by Quentin Tarantino, but then of course Tarantino said no, and so then they're like, what do we get? And I guess they just found Redman, and he said yes. They're like, all right, cool. Like, he likes Chucky, so of course, you know, they went and they made the movie, and of course the movie came out flopped and nobody liked it, and so yeah. Don Mancini has said yes. He said we went a little overboard. And also, they had to put a PSA out in TV spots and trailers saying Britney Spears is not in this movie because in the trailers, they show Britney Spears getting killed by Chucky, running off the road. And so, they had to put a disclaimer in the trailers and in the movie. Britney Spears is not in no way involved or in the movie whatsoever. You know, because they want Britney Spears' publicist heard about it and said, she's not in this movie. Please put disclaimer saying she's in this movie, or else we will take legal action against you. And so they did. And so, so I would have just asked her if she wanted to be in the movie, which after hearing about that, nope, I don't want to be in this movie. But yeah, the movie has some cool kills, the movie. Like, I will say, when Method Man getting gutted was really good. And I really like, you know, John Waters with the acid on the face. I thought that was a cool kill. And I will say that I thought the Shining reference, I will always appreciate Shining references in any movie. I don't care what they are, because even in The Conjuring 3, which I hate that movie, that has a cool Conjuring, Easter egg that I like. Oh, I respect that. Even I was probably hard on it more in my review, but I was just like, I was angry with that movie at the time. But still, I will say that this movie is not good whatsoever. I mean, from Chucky whacking off to like his son just every 5 minutes, you're pissing your pants, you're pissing your pants. I'm just like, I think they forgot what horror was. They're just like, it's gonna be a comedy. It's just a comedy now. Because it literally, at one point, it's like, even Chucky roasts himself. There's a funny scene that made me laugh with Chucky where he's like, who the fuck are you? And he's like, and he goes, shit face. And Chucky's laughing. He goes, he had an ugly branch on the way down and hit every branch. His family, look at his family. His family's probably fucking ugly too. Anyway, he like roasted himself, and it was just so freaking hilarious. And he had no clue until he saw the main channel. He's like, and he looks at himself and goes, he had no idea he roasted himself and Tiffany at the same time. Not only was he roasting his son, he roasted himself and Tiffany. I thought I got a good kick out of that. It made me laugh. I'm like, there are some funny moments in the movie. You gotta admit, this is not like the worst movie ever made. I mean, it's just not good. But, it's not out of all the Chucky movies, this is the worst out of all the Chucky movies. But it's actually pretty fucking hilarious. Like if you watch the movie for the comedy, you're gonna enjoy yourself. If you're watching for a horror film, you're gonna be very disappointed. I mean, if you thought Child's Play 3 wasn't great, though this movie basically says, hold my beer, Child's Play 3. We go for it, Because I think everyone loved Bride of Chucky. Everyone thought Bride of Chucky was so great. They love all Chucky's humor. And even telling Chucky with the one-liners in the other Chucky movies, they're like, oh, let's expand that on Bride of Chucky. And then they got carried away after that because they're like, oh, we love Bride of Chucky. And they're like, let's do it again, but with Sidcho. This time, everything is a one-liner. And then after that, people were just upset. So then, of course, that's why we haven't got a direct. That's why we didn't get a sequel until Curse of Chucky until 2013, because of that, the box office. And that was directed video. Was Curse of Chucky. And so I will say though, the movie is funny. If you're looking for a fun comedy, it's a fun time. The movie, yes, is dumb and it's really repetitive, and this is also, I did not notice, this is the first Child's Play to have nudity in it. Like, there is no nudity really in the other Child's Play or Chucky movies. Not in like, up to Seed of Chucky. I'm not saying like Curse and Cult and the Child's Play series, which I'm 99% sure the Child's Play series does not have nudity in it. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying. But out of this, it was like you saw boobies in this movie, which I'm just like, huh. I was like, it's the only thing good probably it has going for it. I'm just joking, but really. But seriously though, if I had to give this movie a grade, I would probably give it a solid D-.
What the hell is going on in here?
She came on to me.
No wonder her career's in trouble.
Seed of Chucky.
That's my boy.
Oh, God bless the little people.
This November, get a load of Chucky.